Democracy doesn't happen by accident. Debated by global challenges that are more complex than ever and which require shared efforts.
Democracy, Shamocracy, it's not a summit, it's an abyss of utter hypocrisy. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't know whether to laugh or cry at the idea of Joe Biden holding a summit for democracy. Countries that are ready to be stooges, puppets, footstools for the U.S. empire are present in their summit for democracy. Any country that wants to be sovereign and independent and make its own decisions about the direction in which it goes is not wanted on this voyage. They are disinvited to the democracy summit. So we shouldn't take it too seriously. Not many people in the West are taking it very seriously either. It has no substance. It is not receiving any real coverage and publicity in the West, whose governments have never been more incredible. I mean incredible in the literal sense of that word. This is a Western world where governments order the people to stay indoors whilst secretly, they hoped secretly, literally partying the night away in the seat of government itself in 10 Downing Street. The Prime Minister and his wife and the factotums around them were kissing each other in a kind of Rabelaisian orgy under the mistletoe, under the Christmas trees in Downing Street. The hypocrisy of Western power has never been more starkly illustrated, demonstrated than this. And so I really caution your viewers not to imagine that not being invited to the democracy summit of Joe Biden was some kind of insult. In fact, you should wear it as a badge of honor. The United States is not a paper tiger, but it is an old tiger. Many of its teeth have fallen out, and there are new, younger, more virile beasts emerging from the jungle. So that was the situation before the Democracy Summit, and it remains the subject, the situation now. I quoted Chairman Mao, who was quite wrong about the paper tiger back in the 1960s. It's not even a paper tiger now in the 2020s, but it is a fading tiger. And so let me quote Chairman Mao again. In the end, political power comes out of the barrel of a gun. So by all means, keep your defenses up because sometimes a fading tiger tries to attack one last time. I hope that they will not be necessary, but it is necessary to have a proper defensive capability. It's necessary, but not sufficient. You have to also, as you are doing now with this program of yours, rebut every lie as eloquently as you possibly can, state the truth boldly and in colors that are palatable to the eye of the Western beholder. As I said, the credibility of the Western governments has never been lower. If I had one message to come from this interview, it's that. Don't imagine that Joe Biden the gerontocratic man who soon will be wandering around the White House in his pajamas, is somehow the leader of the Western world. Don't imagine that Boris Johnson, a kind of a character that walked out of the pages of Charles Dickens and who might not be still the Prime Minister in a few weeks from now. Such is his collapsing credibility. Don't imagine that these people are Olympian warriors atop white horses, leading their united people against China and Russia. Nothing could be further from the truth than that. Well, the United States is fighting a losing battle over China. Nicaragua has just broken relations with the Chinese province of Taiwan. Lithuania is now beginning to count the cost. The Australian people, whose government is also beginning to collapse in acrimony and disturbance, are paying a high price for playing this foolish, childish game with China, which we thought had been banished in 50 years ago, in the time of Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger. Donald Trump began them again, and Joe Biden is attempting desperately to refloat this pre-1970s nonsense. But in European countries, it never even got off the ground.